Hey, and a very warm welcome to the Into the LightWeb Podcast with me, your hostess, Joanna Hunter, metaphysical teacher, spiritual life and business coach, published author, and the high priestess of the LightWeb, a spiritual technology that will change your life. This is the place to be to talk everything under the LightWeb, from consciousness, relationships, to money, to spiritual business, and everything in between. Hey, it's Joanna here from joannahunter.com. I am super excited to be doing this live transmission of light for you guys, all on spiritual leadership. So I'm just going to share this in to some groups. Let me post this in my temple group as well. So hey, if you are just joining me live, I am super excited. Hello Diane, how are you doing? So today what we're going to talk about is we're going to be talking about spiritual leadership, the pathway to profits in your business. So stepping up in self-leadership, first and foremost, is the most important thing in your own business. A lot of us are afraid to step up in leadership, right? A lot of us are afraid to step up in leadership because we encounter the people pleaser first and foremost. The first version or first thing within us is we often encounter the people pleaser, and then we are afraid if we step up in leadership, not everyone is going to maybe like us. Or if we choose to begin to leading ourselves, then what if not all of our people come with us? That's another big worry that we have. So what if I lead myself in such a way that other people, that there's people who are maybe left behind, or what happens? So the first thing that I want to say to you in your spiritual leadership is that you are going to be dedicating and evolving, choosing spiritual leaderships, choosing leadership and choosing to lead with your spirit, choosing to lead with your soul, choosing to be soul-led and choosing to be that leader that is soul-led. You are not, it is your journey and it's not anybody else's journey. And that means that you are going to you're choosing a journey of evolution. You're choosing a journey in which you are choosing to evolve on purpose, if you like, and that you're choosing a journey of evolution. And if you are choosing a journey of evolution, then the next part of that is really creating an awareness around that. And in that awareness, not everybody is going to be coming with you, right? Some people are going to be with you at the beginning of the journey, but they necessarily might not be there in the middle of the journey or near the end of the journey, right? They're not going to come with. And that can bring your shit up. That can bring a lot of your things up. At the moment, the energy on the planet, the way that the energy is on the planet at the moment, it's really important that more of us than ever step up into our spiritual leadership and being true to ourselves in our spiritual leadership. And that also means that willingness, that I am willing then to also let go of people that I love, of people that I really like and really adore, and I want them to be on the journey with me. Because everybody has their own journey. And if that person in your leadership, as you start to lead yourself, as you start to show up more, as you start to create bigger businesses, if that person is triggered by that, if that person's thinking, well, she's too fancy for us now, as long as you have issued an invite to them, as long as within your leadership you have issued an invite to them that they can come if they want, but you are choosing to lead with that light, you are choosing to lead in a positive way. And as long as there is that invite out there, you have absolutely nothing to feel guilty for in choosing to evolve. Some of my biggest up levels in life has come sometimes through a kind of realization of I can't be holding myself back to make other people around me comfortable. So let me know in the comments if that resonates with you, that perhaps you're playing a smaller game because you're afraid of offending anyone, you're afraid of changing the ball game. I often see this in spiritual entrepreneurs when it comes to how much you're going to charge. Oh, I can't turn up my prices, or I can't put up my price because that one and that one might not be happy with that. And we're actually thinking of actual individual people as we're saying that to ourselves, and therefore, and we haven't gone and checked with them. We haven't gone and said, not that we need to go in and check with them, but we haven't done that. But we've created a story in our own heads that, oh, I can't do that, or I can't, that one's not going to be happy with me, or this one's not going to like that very much. So what we do is we pick what we think is the easier option, and it's playing a lower game. We play a lower game, and then we don't up level. And because we end up playing that lower game, what happens is that we begin to think, well, and then we get frustrated. In our businesses, instead of actually realizing and giving ourselves permission. It is okay for the people to follow me who are going to follow me, and it is okay for the people who at some point maybe time out and say okay. And that's not to say that those people might not rendezvous back again later, because people are so on their own journeys. They're so on their own journeys. And you are not ready for what you're ready for. But if you are ready for the next level, if you are ready for the next step, if that is your pathway, if that is your next level, then you sitting there holding yourself back because you were afraid that other people are going to be offended by you, or you're afraid to put your prices up because you can think of individual people who might be very upset at this, then what you are doing is you're playing a lower game, and you are not in your leadership. You're outside your leadership. You're outside your leadership looking in. You're literally got your little nose pressed to the window of being a leader, and you're standing outside of it. What the world needs now more than anything is powerful spiritual leaders. What is a powerful spiritual leader, in my humble opinion? In my humble opinion, it's somebody who has their spiritual values and ethics right at the core of their business, that they are running their business in a way that feels soul aligned to them. What is soul aligned to one human is not soul aligned to another human. So it's a complete individual expression of their soul alignment. And that they're running that business in a place of radical self-honesty. They're being honest to themselves. They're running that business not from the space of the people pleaser. That's the little one that sat with her nose pressed against the window looking in on leadership. That's the people pleaser. But really seated in your own inner throne of power, in your own sovereignty, and really leading in a place that feels completely aligned with you, and that you know that you are showing up, you know that you are being the biggest, brightest, boldest version of yourself. That's who you're showing up as. And that, I truly believe, is your deepest path to profits as well. And this is not profits at any price, profits over people and relationships, but you can't hold yourself back in your business because you are afraid of what other people will think. And I've done that in business in the past, where I've, been afraid to up my prices, or being afraid to really own something, or be afraid to put a boundary in place. So instead, I don't have the boundary there, and then I'm feeling terrible because the boundary's not there, and I know it needs to be there, but then I'm not putting it in because I'm too afraid of the backlash of what will happen if I exert this boundary. Will people think, well, I'm off, I'm out? But you've then got to ask yourself in that level of, it's usually the people that ask you to change your boundaries are the ones that shouldn't maybe be in your life in the first place. Right? And yet, so we're so willing to pander to that because of the fear of, what if people don't like me anymore? What if they don't like that? And so what we're willing to do is we're willing to wreck our own relationship with ourselves, and look at ourselves and think, what if people don't like me anymore? So, okay, I won't exert my boundaries, but what happens is you don't like yourself anymore. That's the price that you pay when you're not true to yourself. That's the price that we all pay when we're not true to ourselves. So spiritual leadership is about you going first. You are going first. You're demonstrating to the universe, these are my standards. This is what's acceptable to me. This is not what's acceptable to me. The universe is a giant mirror. I'm always saying that the universe is a game of Simon Says, and you always get to be Simon. So as you rock up to the universe and you demonstrate your standards, your boundaries, your ethics, your values, the universe will just mirror them back to you. So when you are in that people pleaser mode, the universe mirrors back to you more and more and more opportunities to be a people pleaser in. Those are not the type of opportunities that you want. You want opportunities that are going to elevate you and expand your business. That's the opportunities that you want in your life. So it is really extremely important that we show up in self-leadership and spiritual leadership, that we show up and really run our businesses from a powerful, radical, honest space. And that means that if we are going to run our business from a powerful, radical, self-honest place, there's going to be people in our lives who might not like it. But what I want to assure you, as somebody who's been on this journey for quite some time and worked through a lot of these things, what I want to assure you is that, first of all, it is safe for you to assert your boundaries. It is safe for you to show up in self-leadership and spiritual leadership. And that the people that get offended are usually the ones that are actually the energy that's actually holding you back. That's the energy that's actually holding you back. It is not the fact that you are, it's the fact that you're afraid, and that's what's holding you back. So let's have a look here. And Diane here is saying, for me, it's the boundaries. I let them, and then I'm the one who crosses them. So when we're the ones that cross the boundaries, we often end up in heaps of resentment. So resentment is the agent that the universe sends you when we are willing to cross our own boundaries. That's a big ouchie one. That is a beautiful lesson from Skylar, my spirit team. So resentment is a sure sign that we're coding for. So again, it's that giving yourself permission. I give myself permission to uphold these boundaries. I give myself permission to have this in place. I give myself permission to have this leadership in place. And the more that we one of the funny things that has really happened in my business is my capacity to serve has increased exponentially over the last few years, and especially the last couple of years, my capacity to serve has exponentially increased. My giving of a shit in the nicest possible way has decreased exponentially too, because before I used to worry about every single tiny little problem and tiny little thing, and does this one like me, and does this one not like me, and what's going on, and like that impacted my ability to lead, that impacted my ability to grow my business, that impacted my ability to reach more people who actually need me and the actual real divine service. The more permission I gave myself to move and keep evolving. So when that call for evolution came within yourself and gave you like that call and that nod and that tap, and, put up your prices or change that boundary, or that boundary's too loose, you need to tighten it up. All of those little taps on the shoulder that you got from the universe to up level, all of those invites, because that's what they are. They're powerful, powerful invites into the universe to up level your game, to up level your business. All of those taps on the shoulders, all of those invites, when I ignored them, obviously I wasn't moving very fast, and I ignored them because I was worried of what's going to happen. When I took those invites and I made those changes, I made that boundaries. At first, yes, it was scary. It was really scary, because then I was thinking, oh, well, what if my stream of customers dry up? I think that's a fear, a very, very normal, very, very natural fear for any entrepreneur, whether you're spiritual or not. That is a natural fear for any entrepreneur. And so, of course, that's the fear, right? That's the fear that you're going to mess up your own business and things like that. But actually what I discovered was that the people that fell away were the people who were actually not going where I was going, and actually in the grand scheme of things often were not respecting me. And so therefore my confidence has risen in like, am I going to do what I'm going to do? And I think if you can start to have that radical self-honesty, because am I going to do what I'm going to do, that attitude is actually radical self-honesty in action. And that takes a lot of courage. That takes a lot of courage, especially if you spend a lifetime people pleasing, especially if you have. But if you are coding for things like resentment, you're often feeling hard done by, you're often feeling like you're pushing the boulder up the hill in your spiritual business, I can guarantee you that it's a lack of leadership, self-leadership and spiritual leadership within your business. You are not in the flow of radical self-honesty. When you're in the flow of radical self-honesty, you begin to realize that actually more people, like I feel in my world, more people like me now than like me earlier. And that also reflects in my business. I have way more clients now than I did 2 years ago, but I like me a lot more now as well. And that means that sometimes I've had to make tough decisions, or that means sometimes I've had to step up in my leadership and say things that I know that maybe there's people in my community that might not have liked that. But in me not saying, that's me pandering and people pleasing. And it's really, really important that when you're in spiritual leadership, that you're willing to stand up for yourself, that it's so powerful to stand up for yourself. So Kiana here says that me too, my boyfriend helps me to hold myself accountable. Amazing. Beautiful. So resentment is the number one energy that of this recovering alcoholic. I work on my steps every day to work through them quickly. Amazing, amazing. And this is it. The more we practice these things, the more we step through, the more powerful we become, the more powerful we become. But I mean, that doesn't mean that I still like, it doesn't mean that I don't like carte blanche, not give a shit. Like I do, I care a lot. That's never going to change with me. I'm always going to be a person that like wears her heart on her sleeve and goes all in. And, you know, and when people jump into my world, I go all in on that, you know, like that is who I am. That's probably never going to change, but I can't keep holding myself back when evolution is tapping me on the shoulder and saying, right, okay, well, that boundary's no longer working for you because you're feeling a bit resentful or you're feeling not great about that. So that's your indication. The moment you feel bad is your indication that you've separated from source. Be magic. Insight 7. The moment you feel bad is your indication you have separated from source. So these insights, these Be Magic insights are literally the core, like they are my playbook. They are my playbook for spiritual leadership, Be Magic insights. And you can get them, you can reach out to my team. And if you want to get the masterclass, there's a beautiful masterclass all on the Be Magic insights. So if you want to get the masterclass, then it's there, you know, and it's $111 and it's 13 powerful insights to help you. But Be Magic Insight 7, you know, is the moment you feel bad, is the moment you've separated from source. So that's what's happening. And the more we go down that route of people pleasing, the worse we feel. The worse we feel. And now we're second guessing ourselves, and now the universe doesn't just send agent feel bad and agent resentment, now agent doubting yourself comes in and all of that. These are all strong indications that we are separating from our source alignment, that we are not driving the bus forward with source alignment, that we're kind of going off track, if you like. And this has been a big thing for me to be able to give myself permission to show up at a higher level and give myself permission that it's okay that not everybody is going to like the way I do things. That's okay. But then I'm not for everybody. And that's been another massive lesson in my spiritual leadership, that you're not for everybody. You're not for everybody. And sometimes you're for people for a season. And then that person, for whatever reason, needs to come out of your energy field for a while, because maybe they need to go on a detour. Maybe they need to go and see the contrast to you. Maybe they need to go and see. who knows, later on down the line, they can be popping back into your world. I had somebody recently in my inbox that was in my world a lot and was like a real super fan and showing up for a lot of things, then disappeared for a while in my inbox recently. And this is the thing, is that everybody is on their own journey, and you can't live your life, your spiritual leadership, the way that you're showing up for yourself in your life and in your business. You can't live that in a way where you're living that to try and please others. It has to please you. It has to please you. And that's, we're conditioned by society to believe that that's princess behavior. That's princess energy. Having it every which way, having it the way that suits you. Like, isn't that terrible? Aren't you a bad human? What I say to you ladies is start becoming a bad human and start being a good leader. Your future self will thank you for it, and you'll feel a lot better about yourself, because some days being a human just sucks. And it sucks because we're so busy in our conditioning, we're so busy in our people pleaser, we're so busy giving, and then wondering, because we're not being radically self-honest with ourselves, and wondering when it's our turn, wondering why we feel so resentful, wondering why there's all this giving and no receiving. And that comes because you have to be the one that receives in first, right? You have to be the one that says, actually, you know what, that's not right for me anymore. I've outgrown that. And that's okay for you to outgrow things. Spirit sends me beautiful, amazing visual imagery. And when I was a little girl, I had a pair, because I was born in 1975. So I did the whole flared trousers thing. And when I was a little girl, I had a beautiful dusty pink corduroy trousers. And I loved those trousers. I really, really did. And one of the images that Spirit has sent me about growth and evolution and how we grow and how we evolve is me wearing those trousers when they're half-mast. And I'm trying so hard because I've grown and I've expanded and I'm taller now. And those poor little trousers didn't fit anymore. And there's halfway around my ankles, and I'm desperately still wanting. That's, we don't have to be mad. And I think this is one of the big things in spiritual leadership, is that we think that in order to move beyond something, we have to be angry at it. We have to either put it down, or we have to make it wrong in some way. That person's wrong, or that they're no good for me. We have to get into a fighty mode to get rid of something, to move beyond something, in order to give ourselves permission. I'm here to tell you that you don't need to do it. It's just like those pink corduroy trousers. It's gutting. It's upsetting when they didn't fit anymore. But you know what? Evolution had happened and you have moved beyond. And those corduroy trousers don't need to be evil. They don't need to be a bitch. They don't need to have any names called around them in order for you to be able to evolve beyond them. You can thank them for their service. And it's the same with your clients. It's the same with your customers, that some customers and clients come and they're with you on the journey, and you can be so grateful for them to be on your journey. But when it's time to assert those boundaries, and if they're not happy about it, that's fine. But you don't need to get into the fighty energy. That's very old paradigm. That's the old paradigm of doing things. The new paradigm is really looking at that and saying, well, thank you so much for your service. Thank you for being an agent for me. Thank you for showing where my boundary was actually too lax. And I actually now need to be radically self-honest with myself, and I need to take the next step. And that means evolution time. And when we evolve, there's things that we are going to outgrow. That is just the way it goes. I've outgrown so many things in my business. When I look back at them, some of them, yes, I felt every inch of that sadness that I did for those pink corduroy trousers. Felt every inch of sadness. I'm gutted. I've moved past. I'm gutted. I'm moving on. I'm gutted that maybe this person or this thing's not coming with me, or I'm not taking this forward. But in that, I've also known that if I am radically self-honest moving forward is really, really powerful. It's really, really potent. And that's what's important when we step up in leadership, that we are radically self-honest leaders. So Leona here is an amazing class. Thank you so much. So stepping up in your leadership, what are the things that you struggle with? Do you struggle with your own evolution? Now that I've kind of named maybe an unnameable energy, maybe there's like a little kind of funky energy happening in your energy field, and I've named that energy now. I've literally said, right, this is the evolution, and here you are, people pleasing. Now that I've named the energy, can you see a little bit more clearly, like, oh, I really need that radical self-honesty. I really need to step into that next version of me. I can't keep holding myself back to keep other people comfortable. Like, even though me stepping into me stepping into more of myself, me stepping into a more honest version of myself can make others uncomfortable, that's okay. They're on their journey. They can come with, or we've just outgrown them, but they don't need to be bad. People do not need to be bad in order for you to outgrow them. That has been one of my most powerful and potent lessons. And I think that comes with the maturity of emotional intelligence, becoming more emotionally intelligent and realizing, you know what, it's okay. They don't need to be bad in order for them to leave my world, or they don't need to be bad in order for me to leave their world, right? Because if it's you that's evolving, you might be leaving people, you might be moving forward, and you're not doing that from a bad place. And I think what we traditionally think in our level of emotional intelligence is, what we think is, sometimes we think, well, I have to, I have to like make that person bad, or I have to be bad. So one of us has to be bad. And evolution, nobody has to be bad. You can just evolve. And that means sometimes relationships come to an end, things come to a shift, things move on, move forward. But there's always going to be something new. There's always going to be something new. When we let go of something that no longer serves us, there is now space in our lives for something new and something more powerful and potent. Versions of me have had to die, without sounding too dramatical, but versions of me have had to die. Softer, more people pleasery, more bendy versions of me have had to literally die, wither and die, in order for me to birth new versions of myself that are capable of handling the next level of my life, the next level of my business. And now what I have is, I have a business where in the last 7 days, we have done over $68,000 in sales in 7 days. Let me tell you, a much earlier version of Joanna was not capable of that. That is what leadership looks like. That is what true leadership looks like in evolving yourself. When you become willing to evolve yourself, when you become willing to become that evolution within your own self, and you become willing to go on this journey, you are going to birth new versions, but those new versions are going to be the versions that are capable of achieving your dreams and achieving your goals. And it is, when you start walking down this journey, in the beginning, you will walk it with fear. You'll be afraid. You'll be afraid that somebody's going to get offended. You'll be afraid that somebody's going to get pissed off. I'm here to tell you that, yes, there will be people in your journey that will get offended. Yes, there is people in your journey that will get pissed off. But you know what? Those are also the people that probably don't deserve you. And that doesn't make them bad. That just makes them not ready for your level of magic. That makes them not ready for your level of magic. So let's have a look here at some of the comments. So Diane says, I thank my new boyfriend for the lessons when I figured out that he is married, but now I have to burn down my bedroom. Oh my goodness, I'm sending you a big, big hug. That is such a hard situation. But well done for leading yourself in such a difficult situation, right? Irene here is saying, I'm grateful to be listening to you right now, Joanna. Oh my God, I'm so happy that you're listening to me. Kiona is saying, this has been a big effort for me. to let go of old people in my life. I've always wanted to make them wrong, but now I realize I get to grow without pointing fingers. Oh, I love that. Yes, you get to grow without pointing fingers. Kiona, that is an absolute quote right there, right? Because it's that, and that was one of the difficulties of me growing, right? Because I was always in this loggerheads of either I have to be the bad one or they have to be the bad one, but somebody has to be bad in order for me to move forward. And this realizing, rising in my emotional intelligence, rising in my spiritual leadership, I'm like, it's all good. It's all good. I do not need to be bad. They do not need to be bad. It is just one of these. It's pink corduroy trousers. You know, I want you to think of those little pink corduroy trousers. I was very cute in those. But you know what? My time for being very cute is gone. I am a grown-ass woman now. I am not fitting in to little 6-year-old corduroy trousers anymore, right? And we're not mad at the corduroy trousers for me growing, for me becoming an older version of myself. We are not mad at that. And yet, what happens is we'll look for somewhere to point that finger, don't we? We'll look for somewhere to point that finger in order to make other people the wrong one. They have to be wrong, or heavens forbid, if they're not the wrong one, that means we're the wrong one. Oh my God, we have to then beat ourselves up and be very hard on ourselves. And I'm saying, you know, if you're really radically self-honest and really willing to give yourself ownership and permission, ownership over your energy and ownership that you are going to evolve in this journey, then you have to also give yourself that permission that it's okay for you to evolve beyond people who are very, very dear to you. And I've had people in my world that have been incredibly dear to me, and I have had to evolve beyond them. And that, you know, is never going to be like, woohoo, I'm evolving beyond these people. Like, it's going to be the same heartache, if not bigger, than those pink corduroy trousers when they didn't fit anymore. And I can mourn that loss, but I can mourn that loss without needing to point a finger. And I think that's what's such a powerful thing. Thank you so much, Diane and Kiona. It has been absolutely incredible growth. This is the quantum portal that I am opening for my Divine Planning Abundant Profits ladies today. Today, we start the first live round. It's very, very special live round that we're starting. This is the first time that I am launching Divine Planning Abundant Profits with a totally complete product suite. It has taken me 7 years to build my product suite for my business. It has taken me 7 years to build my product suite for my business. It has taken me 7 years of leadership, 7 years of evolution and growth, 7 years of expanding, 7 years of really creating epicness in my life and my business and helping other clients to do the same. This time when I am teaching Divine Planning Abundant Profits, it feels so very, very different because this is the first time that I'm ever teaching Divine Planning Abundant Profits from an embodied, completely complete product suite. For the first time in my life, I have no new products that I want to create. I have created all of the products in my business the way that I want to do it, the way that I want to deliver them, the way that I want to be, the way that what I wanted to say. It is all there. My business is now in a new level of completion and now in a new level of really moving my business on and moving my forward. We're also opening this portal inside Divine Planning Abundant Profits for all of my Divine Planning Abundant Profits students to come with me on this journey. And we're opening this portal as well from that energy, from that vibe, but also as well from the decision that I have chosen to put a massive goal in my world of really stepping up for spiritual leadership, really truly standing for spiritual leadership. This world, it has its problems, it has its issues, but you know, ladies, this is the only world we got, and we got to get on our A game. I have got to do what I do best, which is empower spiritual leaders. Empower spiritual leaders to run their businesses in ways that grow and expand and create more profits for them, create happier humans running those businesses, and those business owners impacting not hundreds of people, but thousands of people. That is the power of spiritual leadership. And I know the power of spiritual leadership because the women in my world have changed so much by being in my world. There's women in my world who have said to me, I thought I was on the scrap heap of life. Life kicked my ass, it kicked it hard. I've had, illnesses, chronic illnesses, things like that. I didn't know if I could ever build a business. I didn't know if I could ever create something different. And along you came, blew that out of the water. I heard you talk about your burnout. I heard you talk about all of that. Required my leadership to be able to lead myself, to share some of the most vulnerable, painful stories of my life with other people and show other people, like, listen, I went through this. And if I went through this, you've got this too. You can do this. And then to see them saying, well, I thought I was on the scrap heap of life, and here I am, like, making 5 figures a month, or I've just had a 5K week, or I've created all of this goodness that comes around. And I think this is the power and the potency of being inside a powerful container. I am bringing my A game for Divine Planning, Abundant Profits. If you are not in that container, I'm telling you right now, if you're feeling called to this program, this is your invite to jump in. This is your invite to jump into Divine Planning, Abundant Profits. It is a program like no other. It is a business system. It is a support network. It is next level vibes. I am there. I am really hands-on, but I am here for our shared mission. And our shared mission is to raise the vibration of the planet. If you have ever woken up in the morning and thought, I am here for the raising of the vibration of the planet, I'm here to usher in a new paradigm. I'm here to create waves and make changes and literally fuck up the status quo a little bit and to change things for the better. If you've ever felt that, then Divine Planning, Abundant Profits is the place and the space where you can grow and evolve, where we talk about things like giving yourself permission, that we hold space for you so that you can grow into that version that's going to hold space for not just hundreds of people, but thousands of people. We're here for the long haul. We're growing impactful businesses. We're growing businesses that are here to change the goddamn world. The world needs it. It needs us on our game. It needs us in this position of power. And I believe in filling your cup first. That's what we do in Divine Planning, Abundant Profits. We teach you how to fill your cup first so that you begin filling it, so that when you go out there, you're pouring from a full cup. You're no more running your business empty on fumes, no more running your business stressing over what you're going to do to bring clients in, stressing what you're going to do. Divine Planning, Abundant Profits, we break it all down. We make it as simple and as easy as possible. And we help you to put that steps in place so that you're never lost in your business. You're never in a place of not feeling clear. It is about your spiritual leadership. So if you have dreams of owning a large impact making business, a business that totally is changing people's lives, touching people's lives, making the world a better place to be in, then Divine Planning, Abundant Profits is absolutely for you. That is where the magic happens in my world. Jen is going to pop the link in. There is still time to join this live round, so do jump in if you're feeling called. Kiona is saying, I cannot wait to be there with you. Diane Lynn is saying, I am so excited. I'll do my best to be live. I'm also traveling, so I'll often replay. That's okay. We've got DPP is the best. Divine Planning is the best. It is absolutely amazing. So when we step up, we choose ourselves first and foremost. We have got to choose ourselves. One of the biggest things in my own spiritual leadership was learning to choose myself. As I learned to choose myself, guess what? Other people started to choose me too. When I was an afterthought on my own list of priorities, when I was trying to make everybody else happy in my world. And I never even thought that I could be on that list of priorities and even think if I could make myself happy. I ended up with the scraps off the table. Guess what? It was way harder to run my business. It was way harder to find clients. Everything was way harder. The moment that I began to choose myself, the moment that I began to run my business in a princess fashion, the moment that I began to run my business and create a business that suited me first and foremost, the easier it became to show up in my business, the easier it became to step into my leadership, the easier it became to attract clients, the easier it began to become to find soul-aligned clients, because now I'm no longer being dishonest in my own energy to going, yeah, I'll do that, when inside I'm like, oh, why did I agree to that? There's no more of that in my energy. My energy is squeaky, squeaky, squeaky clean, right? I want that for you too. I want you to have a business that makes massive profits. I am passionate about putting wealth in the hands of spiritual entrepreneurs. Why do I want you to be wealthy? I want you to be wealthy because I know that you're going to do good with that money. I know that you are going to create something powerful with that resource of money. At the end of the day, money is just energy. It is a powerful energy upon our planet. It is a powerful energy that is there for the expansion and evolution of humanity. That resource in the hands of people who are happy to help humanity for free, that's an unstoppable combination. That is an unstoppable combination in creating really massive, massive shifts and changes in this world. I want you to fill up your own cup. I want to share something with you. I'm going to share a little thing with you guys, a little conversation that I had with one of my divine planners actually. And I had this conversation recently, and it was something that I was sitting with myself. It's from my own personal journey, and this is something that I was sitting with myself. So last year, I moved from what was known in the UK as social housing, and I moved into the house that I live in now, which is a fancy ass pad, let me tell you. My new house has an art studio and a library. It's ridiculous. It has a kitchen to die for. We sit on like 2.1 acres of land. It is beautiful. I even have a pond in my garden. Like, hello. Like, it's crazy. It's insane from where I moved from social housing to where I live right now, right? It's insane. And for a long time, I have sat with this idea of like, as my wealth increases, obviously, I'm able to buy nicer things. And one of the things that I have sat with, meditated on, thought, pondered, all the things that we do, is this ego. Is the ego in wanting a larger house? Is the ego in wanting a nicer car? Is the ego in wanting maybe a designer handbag, or all of these things, right? How is that helping humanity? Because I feel very driven to help humanity. So when I was sitting with all these things, so I was telling my client this recently, and I was having this conversation with her recently, and I was saying, you know, the conclusion that I have come to is that if we take the price out of it, if we take the money aspect out of it, the money is important, but let's take the money aspect out of this conversation for one moment. Is it ego? What I realized is that my fear that it is ego is ego. My fear that it is ego is ego. Because if I take the money part out of it, and this is why I believe that money is one of our greatest spiritual teachers on our planet right now. It teaches us so much about ourselves. But here I am, and now, because I have more money, I choose different things for myself than I would have chosen once upon a time. And my fear, which is ego, is this ego to want better? Is the ego to want a fancier ride? Is the ego to want a fancier car? Is the ego to want nicer clothes and nicer things? Is the ego to want nicer material things, right? This was my question that I had been mulling around in my head for quite some time. And what I realized just this weekend, actually, as I was navigating through this and navigating, it was actually the fear that it is ego, but not actually the desire of that. Because the image that Spirit gave me was the image of a baby, right? A little baby. And imagine you stuck that baby in like a horrible crib that had no mattress, no blankets, no comfort, just hard wood. And you stuck that little baby with no comfort, no nothing. It's literally child abuse, right? And we would never deny a little baby the comfort. And as your wealth increases in your life, your ability to give yourself comfort increases too. And it is actually ego to deny yourself that comfort. That was the conclusion that I come to. Now, I'm open for someone to contradict that or come along or even debate me on that. But my conclusion that I have come to for myself is that my fear that is ego, my fear that it is being materialistic. And I think this is one of the biggest things that spiritual entrepreneurs really face, is that fear that in our leadership, as we lead ourselves, that we fear that what if, I'm only wanting more money so I can have a fancier house and I have fancier and I'm not actually going to do the good that I thought that I was going to do with it. But what I'm here to say to you is that as your ability and your finances increases, your ability to give yourself comfort also increases. And that actually giving yourself comfort is an act of self-love. Just as that little baby in the crib, giving that baby a very comfortable mattress, putting in beautiful blankets, beautiful clean sheets, all of those things give that baby comfort in that crib. And it's the same for you. As you increase, when the baby is not laying on the bare boards of the crib with no heat, no blanket, no nothing, but the baby is laying in luxurious, downy cotton pads and beautiful blankets that are very soft on baby skin and things like that, the baby sleeps and the baby feels better and the baby behaves better. And it's the same for us, that when our ability to increase our wealth, when our ability to increase our material world and make our material world more comfortable around us, our ability to lead ourselves increases. And this is one of the big downloads that I've had, which I'm going to be sharing with my Divine Planning Abundant Profits sisters. This is one of the big downloads that I've had. I want that wealth. I will not stop at anything for others to begin to create the wealth in their life, to begin to create the comfort. Because the comfort in which I live my life now is the same reason why I'm able to show up in the level of leadership that I'm able to show up now. If I was not so comfortable, if I was stressing over how I was going to pay my bills, if I was stressing over the day-to-day stresses of my life, a lot of my bandwidth would not be on the service that I give. I would not be able to do the live transmissions of light like this that I do. I would not be able to show up in the way that I do. Because guess what? My mind would be on survival. My mind would be on the discomfort. And so my mission, you heard it here first, my mission is to bring every spiritual entrepreneur that comes across my path into a realization and awareness of helping them to increase their wealth, to put the wealth in the hands of spiritual entrepreneurs, to increase their comfort so that they are working from a space of pure comfort and abundance. So they are working from a space of feeling good. Not a space of, I'm stressed, I need to do something, oh my God, where's the clients? From a space of, my life is fully provided for. The universe has my back 100%. I can show up. I can show up even more. I can show up even bigger. I can show up even stronger. And that requires strong leadership and strong leadership going forward. And I intend to model that for anyone that comes into my world. I intend to model a level of massive, strong leadership. I want to normalize wealth. I want you to have wealth without guilt. I want you to have wealth and comfort in your life. I want your life to be more comfortable. It is not ego. Your fear that those things are ego is ego. But not having those things. Because if you would not deny a baby comfort, why would you deny yourself comfort? Think who you could be if your life was in a level of comfort. You never ever had to worry about how to pay the rent or the mortgage. You never ever had to worry about how you're going to put gas in the car. You never ever had to worry about how you're going to put food on the table. All of your basic human needs are taken care of, but they are not just taken care of. They're taken care of to such a degree that they are in comfort. You're eating the food that you want to eat. You are sleeping on the sheets that you want to sleep on. Everything feels your level of what is right for you, right? I am still the woman that is going to purchase a $1,000 ring, and then at the same time, I will be super happy with a $3 plastic ring. I will always be that woman. Even though my wealth can increase, I can go into a shop, I can see a little $3 plastic ring, and if it's got bling in it, oh my God, I am beyond delighted. And I will still be the woman that will buy that, even though my ability to choose different. When you increase your wealth, when you increase your financial power as a human being, more truth of yourself comes out. Because now you have a tool in which you can truly decide what it is that you want. And some days for me, it is the $3 plastic ring. And some days it is a high-end piece of jewelry. Because now I can get to truly choose. Before, it would have been a lower level thing. Because that was what the limit was. There was a limit. I want to create limitless women. Can you imagine a planet full of spiritual, limitless women? What is the power that we can unleash on this planet? What is the tide that will rise with us? What is the tide that will rise with us? Ask yourself that. Do you want to be part of it? Do you want to be part of that movement? If your timing is right for this, and the timing to jump into Divine Planning Abundant Profits is there for you, we start tonight. This is going to be a round like no other. I am beyond excited to share this with you. So, Dan is saying there was a time when I filled up only $2 of gas to get to work. Yeah. This is why, not to make light of your situation in that time, but what level of BS is that? Really? I've known that myself. I've known the contradiction of being on my fucking iPhone, right? The contradiction of being on my iPhone and using the calculator app to see if I can afford the food that I'm placing in my trolley. What level of BS is that? Let's end that for all women. Let's end that for all women. I know that every spiritual woman that listens to me has a message in her heart that another woman needs to hear. That the world needs to hear, that the planet needs to hear, that our men need to hear, our non-binary people need to hear. There is a message for the world. Every spiritual woman has a message for the world in her heart. And I know that let's quit the BS. Let's empower us. Let's build massive freaking businesses where we are not apologizing for having money. We are not apologizing for elevating our lives into a level of comfort, because anything that is not that is ego. Because it is fear running the show, and when fear runs the show, ego runs the show. When love runs the show, waking up in a home that you love, driving a vehicle that you love, being in the energy that you love. Now love's running the show. That's spiritual leadership. You have to lead yourself to that first. And we do that by filling up your own cup first. Once your cup is filled, think how many more cups you can pour into. That is what's happened to me. The ability to fill my own cup has increased exponentially, and me filling my own cup has led to me being able to fill thousands of other people's cups and begin to pour into them. Pour into them things that are so incredible. And then I'm watching the ripple effects in my world. I'm watching the ripple effects in my world. I'm watching the women who I've poured into start pouring into other women. I'm seeing their comments on their posts and they're like, oh my God, because of you. And those same women are writing on my posts going, because of you. But it's just an ever running ripple, because I know that my women pouring into other women, those women are going to be activated and start pouring into other people. And we are going to create a shift that is going to be global wide. That's what it means to step up in spiritual leadership. That's what it means to be magic, to become magic. So if you're ready to take a step, a brave step, to jump into divine planning, abundant profits, it's there for you tonight. We start today. It's that ripple effect. It's a knock-on, it's a domino effect. It's a domino effect for the saving of the planet. I've often said many times that I do not believe that the planet will be saved by marching. And if you are a person that marches, fill your boots. But we're looking to create things like world peace. How can we create world peace when most of the population is at war with themselves? World peace is going to be low on the agenda. But we can create world peace by being the change that we wish to see in the world. There's only one human that we can truly change. It's ourselves. That's the human that we can change. By changing ourselves, by being willing to be part of our own evolution, being part of our own conversation, stepping forward, being willing to do that. Being willing to do that. When we become willing to do that, to create the next step forward, to create magic in that way, OMG. That's when we're going to create ripples. Ripples that are going to be felt in the time-space continuum of this planet. That is when we start coding for a chance to actually create world peace. That's when we start coding for a chance. Fill your cup. When your cup is so filled, it is overflowing. You can't help but be the change that you wish to see in the world. It just oozes out of you. It's just who you are. You start to live in comfort. You start to think everyone should live in comfort. Everyone should have this. And you start just exuding it. The light of your being begins to literally exude through every single pore in your being. That is what I teach my ladies in Divine Planning, Abundant Profits. And there is a tide coming, and we are part of it, and we are rising together. We are creating a change so powerful and potent that our grandchildren are going to be talking about it. So if you're ready to jump into Divine Planning, Abundant Profits, this is your time. You're ready. You decided, I don't want to play anymore. I really want to show up for my business. I really want to be part of this. Then let me pop the link in for you for Divine Planning, Abundant Profits. We start tonight, literally in an hour. It is going to be some absolute next level shiz. I am so excited to be jumping into Be Magic and sharing all the goodness that I've got. So Pooja here is saying, yes, ripple effect, chills. Joanna saying, because of you, messages are magic. They are magic. But think where does that stop? It never stops. It never ends because of you. And then that person's activating someone else. And because of you. And then because of you, they are like a ripple effect. It is so powerful and so potent. So if you're ready to step into, I've just seen Jen here has placed the Divine Planning Abundant Profits link. Come and join us. This is the first time that I'm teaching this program. I've taught this program for nearly 7 years now. This is the first time that I'm teaching it from the space of a completed product suite for myself. That in itself should inspire you, because a lot of people are all about creating that product suite as quickly as possible Took me 7 years to perfect and create mine to a place where I am so proud of everything that I have created. I have evolved everything that I've done. I've created everything. And for the first time in my life, it feels totally and utterly complete. And I'm so excited. So I will see you guys in an hour. And literally in an hour from now. You need to get your international time buddy out, absolutely. So I will see you there. There is still an hour to jump in if you want to catch the first live call of Divine Planning Abundant Profits. It's going to be like nothing else I've ever delivered. The energy, the downloads I'm receiving for this, the energy transmission of this. Get ready for some next level vibes. I will speak to you guys soon. Take care. Lots of love. Mwah.